just when I thought you couldn't do anything dumber, you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself. I'm sure you've heard that from Harry Dunn from the 1990s comedy Dumb and Dumber. Well, the NCAA, once you think they can't do anything dumber, they totally go off and do not redeem themselves. They make it worse. Welcome to SEC Unfiltered. I am Dave Shumate, host of Mock 10 Sports. Please go like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when we release SEC content of 24/7, 365 around the calendar year. But getting right to it, yesterday morning, Pete Thamel from ESPN released an article stating NCAA officials were discussing significant overhaul to the football recruiting calendar and signing periods. Just to give you a visual, let me bring that up for you just so you can initially see it. Here it is right here. The 3-period model, like I mentioned, developed by the CCA, may allow prospective student athletes and institutions more flexible recruiting timelines based on the individual needs of the PSAs and institution. What you really need to focus here is on 1, 2, and 3. Now, right now we have 2 signing periods, the early one in December, the third Wednesday in December, and then obviously the one we're all accustomed to growing up with and now know, the February signing period, the first Wednesday in February. But the NCAA is proposing this, the first NLI signing period. Sorry, everybody gets it mixed up all the time. NIL, NLI. But for this sake, we're talking NLI, a 3 or 7 day calendar period beginning the last Wednesday in June. That's the first one, June. I'll talk about that one here in a minute. Obviously not a big fan. Second NLI signing period, a 3 or 7 calendar day period beginning the Wednesday following the last FBS regular season contest of the season. I think this would be, that first Wednesday would be December 4th. I'll get to that one. And then the one I just mentioned, the one we're used to seeing, the third regular NLI signing period, the first Wednesday in February going through April 1st. But getting that off from that standpoint, let me go down and just kind of break each proposal of the 3 they broke down, starting with the June one. Remember, 3 to 7 day window lasting, they haven't decided that yet, but it's going to start, if that's the case, the last Wednesday in June, which would be June 26th. This one just seems like a big waste of time to me. I've talked to some people in the personnel world, in the compliance world. They agree. I think kids will inevitably want out of their NIL once their head coach or even position coach gets fired at the end of the year, inevitably in December. Also factor in, from a high school player standpoint, if they sign in June, and let's call it what it is. I said mixing up the acronyms of the NIL, NLI earlier. Let's talk NIL for just a moment. If some big time prospect is getting, let's just say, anywhere from a $500,000 deal, $500,000 to $800,000 on the table, if he can just get to campus, wherever that may be, in December, as long as he doesn't get injured, you will have kids missing their senior season. That's not good for development. A lot of kids develop their senior year. That's not good for the sport. It's not good for high school football. It's already losing players each year. More kids are not coming out. So we're going to lose the development standpoint. And honestly, this isn't a pick on those kids who would decide not to play and go cash the money. Depending on your economic background, that may be money you would never get back if you were injured. So I don't blame them. Then throw in, going back to the college team standpoint, this is most staff's vacation time. You got official visits, the 11, 17 I've been a part of, 17 official visits with them and their family, the kids and their 2 guests. It's a lot. Plus, you're factoring in summer camps. You're factoring in some overnight camps. It's just a lot to put on in the back half of June, heading in to vacation time, flipping that switch to go put recruiting to aside for just a minute, not being Dan Mullen here, but really locking in on the summer and then fall camp just around the corner. I see no positive in the June signing period. And then the December one, it has its holes as well, but I think this is the most likely one to stay. But this isn't my choice. From what I'm hearing through the grapevine, from a high up SEC compliance guy, I think this one sticks. This one's going to be poor timing for me from a championship week standpoint. Remember, I said December 4th would be that first Wednesday. There's a lot of teams that will be, at least Power 4 and some Group of 5 teams that'll be preparing for championship games and also worrying about signing a class that Wednesday of that week. Then you throw in the coaching carousel that week. It's going to be all over the place. December may stick, but they're going to have to fix that out, iron some things. I'm not a big fan of that one. The one I'm a fan of, and I think there should only be one, and this is where the NCAA messes up. We already have 2 signing days, the December one, and then the one just before the holidays, second to last, or the last Wednesday in December before the holidays. Then we got the second signing period, the first Wednesday in February, like it's always been. I think we need to go back to one, like how it used to be, old school days. First Wednesday in February. We need to go back to that one signing day in February, in my opinion. When I asked a compliance guy, like, why, like, is this just honestly too much common sense here? And he says he thinks the NCAA would tell me or anyone who would say they should just go to one signing day in February, quote, the toothpaste is out of the tube already. I have written down in my notes right here. Also, they're going to factor in the 4-4 transfer rule. They think would limit that from a midterm standpoint. But I think this could absolutely get done. I think it can. Well, people, again, are going to mention, what about the mid-year transfers, transfer portal, guys like that? Guys, let the high school prospects sign their financial aid agreements if they're early enrollees. Remember, we used to have early enrollees back in those classes before the early signing period. There's wasn't as many, but about 6 to 8 compared to now double digits for most teams. Let them sign their financial aid agreements like they used to. And then in February, that first Wednesday, let them sign with the rest of their teammates like they used to. We've done that before, guys. We've done that before. We can do that again. Then for the transfers, they aren't locked in until they step foot in a classroom or take an online class the first day of school, wherever that is, whatever university they're at. And all universities start that winter, spring semester on different dates. You know how many personnel people just with my job and just doing the show, doing Mock 10 Sports, doing SEC Unfiltered that I talk to as sources that are just in the late December, early January, just praying, please don't let this kid know. And it sounds bad. Please don't let this kid know. Holding their butts. The Samuel L. Jackson gif you see. Hold your butts. Just wait. Just please don't let Walter Nolan find out he can transfer without. He thinks he's locked in. But that doesn't matter. So NLI's National Letter of Intent, not name, image, likeness. NLI National Letter of Intent are essentially irrelevant right now. They are irrelevant. So it doesn't matter. So from a high school kid standpoint, just let them sign their financial aid agreement. Let them sign in February with everybody else from that standpoint. Let them sign their NLI then. And then from the college standpoint, it doesn't matter what they sign. It only matters when that they step foot in that classroom on that first day of class in that winter, spring semester at whatever school they're at that they are locked in. So we can still get over that. But as a former SEC personnel guy for 5 years, 9 years in college football in total, we were consistently still with my buddies out there in the college football world discussing this topic. I wanted to bring my thoughts to the SEC Unfiltered channel. You in the comments, tell us what you would like to see from a signing day standpoint. I mean, I, as a kid, used to love growing up, couldn't wait, would skip school to see that February signing period February signing day because it was such a big deal. Now it's watered down. Everybody's going to sign in December. And if the June one passes, which I don't think it will, everybody's going to sign in June, and that opens up a can of worms that I discussed. But again, please like and subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you like, dislike. This is all things SEC, 365 days of the year, 24/7. Again, click the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content. But again, I'm your host, Dave Shumate. I appreciate you joining us on this segment.